With us now here on KBST is Cheryl Allison getting ready for her big film debut, No Letting Go. And Cheryl, first of all, appreciate you joining us today here in Texas. I know you have an apartment in Dallas and everything, but it's always good to come back this way, isn't it?
Absolutely. I'm absolutely happy to do it, and I'm glad to be home here in Dallas for a little while.
Talk about what got you the idea to do this movie.
Well, actually, I was in the short film. No Letting Go is an adaptation of a short film called Illness that was written and directed by a French director named Jonathan Bucari. And how I became involved with that project is the producer for that short film is Karina Rush, and she was a very good friend of mine. Karina and I did theater in New York together. So she called me, said she was producing this short film, and she was having trouble casting the lead role of the mother. And we started talking about it, and she thought I would be really good in the role. And so, long story short, I talked with the director, we Skyped, and had a series of sort of auditions over the internet, and he cast me. And so I filmed the short film in February of 2013. And it was very popular, won awards all over the world at film festivals, and ended up getting funding to be made into a feature film. And so he co-wrote the script, and he directed the feature film, and they retained me in the lead role.
You know, and I'll give everybody a quick background. You were a Skyline High School graduate, and the great Dan Peavy was your musical, I guess, teacher for 4 years. And I know you take a lot away from what he did and all the performances you did in high school to be a success like you are. Did you use any of that training and background to help with this film?
Oh, absolutely. I've used that in my entire career. You know, what I learned in high school from Dan Peavy specifically, performing in all of the wonderful musicals there, you learn a discipline really early because he worked as like a professional, theater group in New York. We rehearsed all day during spring break and after school. So I learned early on the discipline between, doing that type of production, maintaining my schoolwork, all of that. So he really instilled some wonderful skills, I think, in his students by having really high expectations of us.
We're talking with Cheryl Allison here, getting ready for her big film debut. Talk about some of the co-stars that you worked with. You have an unbelievable cast that helped you out.
Oh, yes, we have a great cast. My husband is played by a wonderful actor named Richard Berge. He's probably best known for his role as Carl in Desperate Housewives. He was on that show for years. He starred in The Sentinel, which was a very, very popular television series. And you can see him now every day on General Hospital. So he was wonderful. I also had the privilege of working with Kathy Najimy. She is just a wonderful theater actress as well as a film and television actress. She was in Hocus Pocus with Bette Midler. She starred in that. She was in Whoopi Goldberg's Sister Act, the film, and you can see her all over television as well. And then a wonderful, wonderful actress named Alicia Reiner played my best friend in the film, and she has been in Orange is the New Black, which is, the huge hit series on Netflix, and has recently been on How to Get Away with Murder as well. So she's all over television. So we had a really, really great cast. Another wonderful woman in it is Janet Hubert. You probably remember Janet as Aunt Viv in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And so she is also in our film and just brought her wonderful talent to it.
When all the cast came together, was it easy? Was it easy production to do?
Was the filming easy?
Yes, because you had such good characters and a good cast. Was it easy to film with all them cooperating?
Well, I tell you, it was really easy in all of our chemistry. Because, first of all, when you film a film, it's very different than doing a theater production. When you do a theater production, the cast is there together every day, at rehearsals, even if you're not in a particular scene in a musical, you're still all there together. Filming is very different. We filmed this, I think we had an 18-day shooting schedule. And, you're only on set when you have a scene. So a lot of times, I only worked with maybe one of these people like one day. So you don't get that day-to-day type of rapport with them. But there was a really great chemistry. Everybody really believed in the subject matter because it is a true story based on a young boy who starts exhibiting symptoms of mental illness. So we were all very much behind the cause, and the actors were fantastic. You know, everybody's professional. You come in and do your job. What made this film hard to do was that it's very dramatic. You know, the subject matter is very serious. And we had some really tough, emotional scenes that I particularly had to do with my character. So it was an exhausting time. I remember, you know, just feeling emotionally and physically drained after we completed filming.
Talk about the opening. Will there be any openings in Texas that people can go see, say in the Dallas-Fort Worth area or up here in West Texas or wherever?
You're going to be able to see the film. Right now, it's being released in what they call a limited theatrical release, which means it will be in movie theaters in select cities. That's very common with independent films. So we're actually having our big premiere in New York City on March 18th. It's going to be in theaters there, and then March 25th, it's going to be in theaters in Los Angeles. Right now, that's the only two cities that I know about. However, on March 30th, it's going to be on demand, on cable, throughout the entire nation in Canada. And I believe that Suddenlink is a cable provider for many of your listeners, and it will be carried on Suddenlink. So you can rent it and watch it on demand starting March 30th.
We're talking with Cheryl Allison here, getting ready for her debut. Cheryl, if is this movie for kids or just adults or a combination?
I would say it's mainly for adults. If a young person watches it, I think kids, teenage kids, it's really good for. Maybe some preteens, young children. It might be a little bit much for them because of the subject matter, but it's very, very important, this film, to raise awareness and help educate parents and friends and just anyone who has a loved one that is suffering from some type of mental disorder. And like I said, it's based on a true story, so it is really an accurate portrayal of what a family goes through when they're struggling to save their child with having these symptoms that many people don't understand, and it takes years sometimes for a diagnosis and for help. And that's what this family went through, and it's their story. So it's been very, very embraced by the mental health community, and I think this film is very important because it really gives a voice to a lot of families out there that are struggling on a day-to-day basis.